Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes. We are with our brute Liberty Lass. She is 72,000 XP away from level 26. We have 741,000 influence from selling our last set of stuff, and I'm talking to Miriam Blechel. Uh, I guess that's how you say her name. And she's got us going after the Circle of Thorns. So that means, Miriam, that I'm going to need to buy some insights from you because they are going to definitely be lowering my 2-hit. Let's grab another one of these. Let's actually get rid of that blue and throw an extra yellow over there. We'll get another luck. And I guess we'll do a yellow and a red. Like that for now. Because they like to debuff your 2-hit. And off we go to Atlas Park, defeating all the villains. So yeah, as we go, I started playing again tonight. This is it's actually a little late for me. It's after 10 o'clock, and I probably won't play that long, maybe a half hour. But I got the urge to play again because yet again, as I mentioned in the last episode, a bunch of City of Heroes Let's Plays popped up in my feed. And I blundered into a couple of Let's Plays by people who were totally new to the game. And it was interesting watching them sort of fumble their way through. And I found myself saying, gosh, I wish you'd watched my Scrapper tutorial from the very beginning of Homecoming or something to show you how to do stuff, because they were having trouble with the UI and didn't know what to do. And the one guy, I don't know what level he got to. He didn't get past level 10, and he kind of gave up on the game, saying it was boring because, you know, he had to wait for his stuff to recharge and everything. And yeah, they make it slow at the beginning so you learn the game, and then they speed the pace up. He was also playing, I think he was a controller. Oh man, you know. Yeah, controllers are very slow. Ooh. You know what? We might need to lower the difficulty with these guys. We'll see. We do have our build-up, so... And this thing should help because of the stunning. So we'll see how we do, but we might have to drop these down to +0 just to be tolerable, because oranges are going to be so awful to deal with because of their debuffs. And missing them is going to happen all the time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use anything from up here right away that's not a yellow. And that's a good way to ensure that you keep the yellows up. Just use the non-yellows as fast as possible and hold the yellows for when you need them. Anyway, yeah, he was definitely struggling. And you can understand why somebody would be struggling with their a new player would be struggling playing a controller or defender. It was either controller or defender, I can't remember which. And those guys are very tough because they don't do a lot of damage very quickly. The powers that they get, they're not going to recharge super fast, and so in the low levels it can be very slow. And I mean, I'm used to that, right? Because I've played this game a lot. But somebody who's never played it before and they're used to the kinds of games that are popular now, the modern MMOs, it's very different from how modern MMOs play. It's definitely got a very old school feel. Now I like that feel, and I'm used to City of Heroes. But I can understand how, if you've never played the game before, you wouldn't really understand, what's going on, and you would be so used to a different play style that even when you do understand it, you might not like it. It was interesting that he complained about how the game looked and said it looked so old, which I guess it does, but I'm so used to the visual style of this game that we're going to need some buffs here. I'm so used to the visual style of this game that it actually looks good to me and doesn't bother me. And so one thing I think that definitely is the case for that person was He seemed not to understand that the different zones of the city were the same city. So he's complaining that Kings Row and Atlas Park, and I don't know if he got to any of the other, was that the zones all look, that the cities, he said, you know, we're in a new city, but it looks the same as the old city, just a little dingier. And I'm like, no, it's a district of the same city. It's only, you know, it's just across the park. It's just on the other side of Paris Park from Atlas Park. It's like going to two sides of Central Park in Manhattan, right? It's just like going from one part of Manhattan, you know, to the other. And so it's not going to look different. The architecture is supposed to look the same. And if you go to Pretoria, the architecture actually looks quite different because it's a different world, and they had the time to build another set of assets. Now, I will say that a lot of the stuff in the Rogue Isles looks a lot like the stuff in Paragon City, but you have to remember that City of Villains was made, you know, just about a year after City of Heroes came out, and so of course you wouldn't expect them to have all new assets, right? Because because they, you know, they wouldn't have had time to do that while they were maintaining the old game and then building a new expansion. Man, I'm getting hit a lot. Okay, good, we got a yellow there. Yeah, I'm not sure he used any inspirations or understood how to use them. I didn't watch the whole video because it was like an hour and a half, and I was just sort of like trying a few minutes here, a few minutes there. So maybe he did figure it out. I don't know. But I think he would have probably been a lot happier if he'd made something like a brute. Just because it has defenses and a more aggressive playstyle, and you're not as sort of passive as you are when you're a controller or a defender. Especially in the early game. Like, late game, the defender and the controller can be more aggressive because they have more stuff they can do. But in the early game, it's very passive type of playstyle. And then another one of the new people was playing, I think, a Mastermind. And so, yeah, you don't even get the pets right away, and was disappointed with that. But it's like, yeah, you're going to get pets. And one of the guys I was watching got all the way up into 7th or 8th level and didn't take a movement power. And was complaining about, you know, slowly walking through the city, and one of the commenters was like, yeah, if you had taken flight or super jump or something, you wouldn't have that problem. But I think it doesn't, like, I think they were aware, I think he took a pool power and he was aware of the pool powers, but I guess he just didn't realize to scroll down through the list and that there would be a movement power in there. Oh boy. Alright, we're going to leave this room. Hopefully the obelisk is not in there, because that's a real mess of a room, and at +1 that's going to be really brutal. So let's see, is there anywhere else we can go here? There is a teleporter, right? Well, there's a buddy. Hey, bud. Oh, that's hilarious. I hit him even though he was all the way down in the water because he fell off. Let's go get him. Where'd he go? There you are. Oh, he died. Okay. Or, you went unconscious. Liberty Last does not kill. So it looks like we have no choice but to go to this awful room. So I guess the obelisk is in here. So this is the prison, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I hate this room mostly because you can target the doors. Let's pull them out. You can target the doors, and when you're trying to target around the room to get enemies, that means that it's very hard to figure out who you're hitting. Let's drop. Fight them down here. As nice as hover is, I really don't like melee fighting with hover on. What I do feel bad. One of the several of the people said the game is so much better when you group up. When you group up, you should get a group. And he said that um, the user, oh, dry chamber, said that he tried, but people wouldn't team up with him because he was too much of a noob. That's really a shame, and that's like shame on the City of Heroes players because we didn't used to be like that. City of Heroes was always a very welcoming game. You just let him join a higher level team, sidekick him up, and let him see how much fun the higher level game is. Right? Who cares if he's green? You shouldn't. You should be a good enough player that you can cover one green player's um, potential mistakes and issues. Give me a break. Right? I mean, City of Heroes is supposed to be a really good cooperative game, and I'm very proud of most of my fellow City of Heroes players over the years that we're the most welcoming player base that like in any MMO that I've ever seen, and they had a rep for it. That people were very friendly and would sidekick you up and let you join teams. I hope that's still true. So I was gonna post to his channel, but it sounds like he's not playing City of Heroes and he's trying other MMOs now. Um, but I would say to anybody who's like struggling and you can't find teams, I mostly solo this character, but if you need help and you want to learn the game and you want to team up with somebody, I'm on the Everlasting server. You can send me a tell if you see me on, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you live in my time zone, which is Eastern U.S. or anywhere near it, or you're going to at least be on in the evenings, Eastern U.S., and you want to like work out a schedule with me on the channel, I'd be happy to do it. The only thing is, I would say you'd have to agree to have your character on video, right? You don't have to speak, but you're going to have to accept the fact that when I play this character, I'm recording, and maybe it would be a nice thing for the channel to see people who are, subscribers and actually play a little bit, and you can see the characters the subscribers make up and watch them play. If you guys want to do that, I'm perfectly happy to do so. I mean, I've already soloed my way through multiple characters on this channel, so I wouldn't normally like group with members of my super group if I had one because, it could be interfering with their gameplay. But if you know that I'm doing this and you're a subscriber on the channel, you shouldn't mind that I'm going to be talking and recording while we play. And if you're okay with that, I'm perfectly happy to show somebody who's new the ropes. That's what we should be doing on this game. In fact, I'm on the help channel. I just never think to check it while I'm doing this because I'm busy narrating. So, one thing to say is, when you've got these guys in a spawn, the Spectre Demons, they're the targets first. I don't care what the status of Lieutenant, Minion, whatever. You start with the Lieutenant first because he debuffs the most, and then you go work your way down. Boss first, then Lieutenant, then Minion. You work your way down. Use your yellow inspirations to hit the big guys. If you have to, you can fight the minions without the inspirations. It just takes a long time, and it's a little annoying. All right, so I apparently missed something because I don't see the obelisk anywhere. It shouldn't have been in this room. There's usually nothing in this room. So the way this works, guys, almost never comes into play unless you get defeated. But these are these missions that have these prison rooms, right? What happens is, this was something new that they added, I think, a while after City of Villains came out. And the idea, I think they added it when they added like the bank missions and stuff. The idea of these is, if you get defeated in this mission and you hit hospital, you don't end up in the hospital, you end up in one of these cells, and then you have to break your way out. It's a really cool idea, except it's a terrible idea, because these things have an insane number of hit points, and they just take forever, and there's nothing attacking you while you're in here, so it's just pound, 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 till the door goes down, and then you get out. Now, the cool part is that there are a bunch of guards in here, and you'd aggro them, and you're by yourself. So what's awesome is you get defeated over here, your team has to come and try to bust you out. It's just that they shouldn't have given these doors so many hit points. The door should have been trivial to break down, and then you fight a bunch of spawns when you get out, and that should have been the hard part, in my opinion. All right, what did I miss over here? I must have missed a corridor. around the side or something? Yeah, I didn't think this room had a corridor in it. What if we go up? Ah, that's what I missed. I have a friend who detests the caves and these. Now, I like the caves better than these because these have some real mazes in them. But I do like the aesthetic of Ouroboros. Not Ouroboros, sorry. Oren Bega, that's what this is. Which is this underground ancient Circle of Thorns city. Now, these guys are no threat at all, the Thorn guys. They're fine. The problem is always the Spectre Demons. Okay, there's nothing up here. Yeah, so you definitely want to use flight to your advantage, and I definitely recommend getting movement powers as early as possible. Even if you don't want to get flight right away or super jump right away, get combat jumping or hover or teleport's a really great one too. You just got to kind of, it just takes a little bit more to, oh boy, just takes a little bit more to get it to work, to be effective with it, you know. This is going to be evil. This guy is going to be horrible, but we'll do our best. There we go. Took care of him. There are more down there, aren't there? Yeah, so we got to make sure we don't want to aggro those. Fortunately, we did not. There we go. Another lieutenant. We still have our inspirations up, so we'll start to use them and wait till they fade before we take 2 more. We might get him before they fade. Nope. But we have build up, so that should help. Got him. And the minions I'm not as concerned about. They will make it hard for us to hit, but they can't really kill us. They don't do enough damage. Notice, by the way, our endurance is taking a hit. That's because we miss so much and we have to swing so many times that we're doing more swings to take out a spawn. Right? And that hurts your endurance. But it came back really fast once we weren't doing anything because we have both quick recovery and stamina, and they're slotted. Although, just to be clear, quick recovery is not triple slotted yet. So I got to get that done. I should have done that with the 1 slot the last time. I need to finish that up. So maybe the next time we do slots, we'll add a slot to that one. Wouldn't mind if you could release energy on an auto stun with that AoE, but I guess that would just be too powerful. There we go. So one thing you may notice is I turn off my energy hands, my powers, in between spawns. I like to do that. In order to do that, you have to hit escape. You can see they got me down to 55% to hit, give or take. So, if you don't hit escape, she'll stay like this, right, with her hands glowing. Hit escape, and she stops. And the same thing with martial arts super reflex. You get into this defensive crouch. I always used to escape out of it in between battles because I think the defensive crouch, just staying in a defensive crouch as you walk down corridors and stuff, looks kind of dumb. You wouldn't do that, so, or at least I wouldn't do it. Can we get this guy? Got him. Stun him. Got him. And that takes him out. The stun definitely helps us be able to avoid some of that. And there's the obelisk. Okay, so we're going to sweep this area first because the obelisk will get ambushed. So that's them, but who else is around? Now the obelisk, I think, is getting ambushed by Banished Pantheon, and they don't debuff. Well, the guys with the hurricanes debuff your 2-hit, but it's not as annoying as this, right? You just get out of the hurricane and the debuff goes away. I don't see anybody else. So it looks like we can go ahead and attack these guys. Now we cannot hurt the obelisk, but they can. So now we need to protect the obelisk from them. So bad guys should spawn somewhere. And we'll see them in a minute, and then we'll go meet them. It's my experience the last time, if you look at Quintessence last did this one, my other brute, is I waited for them, and it took them forever, and they got lost because of the teleporters, because they came in from another spot. So if I can see them on the map, but this isn't Rebirth, so I'm not sure if we are going to see them on the map. I mean, I think realistically they have to come from this door. I don't think they can come from anywhere else. But if I see the little red arrows on the map, I will go right to them because they only come one spawn at a time, right? And the smart thing to do would be to design this map with the obelisk here and spawns that, like, say, come from here, here, and here all at the same time, but take different times to get there. And you can't leave the obelisk because if you run to get this spawn, the other spawn will come in behind you and take it out. But that's probably too sophisticated for this game. I don't know. There's nobody else in here, is there? Oh, there might be somebody over here. Yep. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and fight this guy because I don't see any other enemies. And maybe we have to take them all out first before the ambush hits. Don't know. There they are. Ambush. Hey, guys. I guess it doesn't really qualify as an ambush because they're not ambushing me, right? They're coming for the obelisk. And our Fury bar is staying up nice and high. Anybody else around? Oh, well, they're coming again. Alright, so let's set up the hallway because we know they've got to come this way. Just gotta make sure I didn't go around the wrong way. They shouldn't be that close. Based on the word balloon. If you get this wrong and you bypass them, though... Now, here they are. They can destroy the obelisk, right? They can't destroy me, but they can destroy the obelisk. And it doesn't have that many hit points that it can stand for them to like beat on it, you know? So this is another example of a great idea that was ruined by execution because the AI is just not smart enough. And they're coming from down here to generate an actual threat. Right? And so it makes it the challenge too easy. But yeah, I would say the other thing is, you know, anybody who's struggling to understand how to play the game, unfortunately they're not watching this video, but guys, if you see people who are struggling to play the game, please point them to someone, the Let's Player. It doesn't have to be me, someone who knows what they're doing and can really explain the game. My Stalker and my Scrapper videos from way back in 2019 and 20 have a lot of explanation in them. So you can point them to that. I'm not sure how helpful this series would be because I don't actually explain stuff methodically the way I did in the Scrapper videos, but that one really shows and explains the tutorial and everything. And they can see how someone who knows what they're doing plays the game. That doesn't mean I'm playing it the only right way, right? Not at all. But at least you can see how an experienced City of Heroes player goes about the playing of the game. Except finding these mobs. I don't know where they are. And they didn't mark them. Wait, there's somebody. Hang on. There's somebody right there. Soul Mage? How do I get out of here now? Yeah, the experienced City of Heroes player who can't get out of this stupid hallway. Okay. Hi, buddy. Let's stun you. Gotcha. And you will not be doing any more to me. Okay, so there's one more guy. The other arrows should be just the dampening fields. So the Nervous Spectral Demons are where? Up there. Ah! Yep. Okay. Start with this guy. See if we can stun him. Got him. Got him again. And that's it for him. It definitely helps to be able to do that almost auto stun on these demons so that they can't keep debuffing me. Alright, guys. Let's go talk to Miriam, and then I think we will stop for tonight. That was quite the mission. That's the other thing. A couple of these new players were saying, "Oh, the missions are sort of basic and boring." And now some of it is just, yeah, there's text only, and they're used to like voiceover and voice acting and all that stuff, which you don't have in this game because it didn't exist back in 2004 for almost any game. Certainly not multiplayer games. A few individual CRPGs had that in around 2004, 2005. But that was like Knights of the Old Republic. And that was one of the first games that did that. There were a few others that had a little bit of voice in them. Neverwinter Nights had some voice, but not the whole game. But you didn't have that in MMOs because they couldn't. It was too much data to transfer online back then, right? You couldn't do that. People were on dial-up. Give me a new contact. Let's do Christine Lansdale. I think she does Sky Raiders. And we've got it. The Scroll of Teal Echo. I'm going to go ahead and take it. The Banished Pantheon cultists have been searching a warehouse. And we're on the Scroll of Teal Echo, guys. I am psyched. And this is going to be my favorite story arc. So yeah, one of the things they said was that like, oh, the missions are small and stuff like that. Yeah, that's because you were doing level 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 missions. As you just saw, you can have some pretty big dungeons, as they were calling it, pretty big mission maps when you get into the higher levels. Some that are so big that I'm like, no, I'm just canceling this because it's too big. So if it's a defeat all anyway. By the way, those people also didn't do super bases. Right, let's just take a quick look at the base and then we'll finish up. So I haven't done anything to the base, but I just want to show you what the logic was and why I was like, I'm going to stop for now because I got to refigure this. So here's the plan, right? The plan here, if we look at it at base, is to have you have to have this entrance room somewhere in your base that has the entrance to go to Alice Park and so on, to come in from Alice Park and stuff. And you go in and out, like wherever you came in from, like we just came in from Talus Island. If we click this, we'll go out to Talus Island. And this is a teleporter that will go to the places on these pictures, right? So the logic of what I had here was this is going to the civilian parts of Paragon City. I was going to put another Paragon City sign here. And then I put all the zones you go to: Alice Park, Kings Row, Steel Canyon, Skyway City, Talus Island, right? Independence Port, Founders Falls, Brickstown, Peregrine Island, Callisti Wharf. All right, so you click on this, and it'll bring you to any of those places. All 10 of those zones from one teleporter. Years ago, it was only 2 zones per teleporter, and then they made it 4. Now you can do any number. Okay. And then the idea that I had, if we zoom back out, was we're going to put a hazard zone teleporters over here, and then miscellaneous like to Pocket D and Ouroboros and stuff over here. And then on this side, this is going to lead you to the rest of the base. And we're in the center here. So the idea was you come in the center, and this is the teleportation area, the transport area. And then we're going to go out sort of radially and have a bunch of other areas. So you come in this way, and you go to the team meeting room over here, and then there's a corridor going down this way, and you have like maybe the library over here and the quarters over here, and then you come this way and you have the workshop and stuff like that. So that's the way I was going to do it. And so I have these really small rooms. These are just this size room, I think, or maybe it's this size room. Yeah. So it's just the 2, right, with a hallway, and then I connected another hallway to it to keep it open. So that was how I was going to do it. But the problem here is that when you do the styling and the color, right, this counts as a room, but this hallway here matches this room, right? It extends into this room. So when I colored the blue of this wall here, right, we go pick style. When I colored the blue of this wall here, it bleeds over into the entrance room. And I was going to color the hazard zones red, right? But then that would make a mess because it would go blue to red here, and that's not what I wanted. What I wanted was red for the hazard zone, blue for Paragon City, white for the other dimensions, right? And then this room was going to be maybe a red, white, and blue, not really sure what I was going to make the entrance room look like, but because it bleeds over, yeah, I'm going to have to rethink. But in any case, we can get out of this. With this teleporter, we can go anywhere we want, which is quite nice. So we want to go to Steel Canyon, boom, there we go. And I think we'll see what happens. Yeah, one of the things they've done on Homecoming since I last played on it, and super props, thumbs up, is they've made it so that the teleport spot is here. It used to be that the teleport spot was in like random places. I don't remember where it was. I think in the old days, when you came out of the base teleporter, it wasn't even the center of the zone. It was like totally random. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, in Steel Canyon, you came out over here by the fountains. I think it was somewhere over near here. I can't remember which one. It might have been over here by the statue, but it was somewhere over near here. Maybe it was here. I think it might have been here, right? Like just randomly, just there, right? And I don't quote me on that. Might have been a different place. Dude, no, you're not stealing her purse. But I thought I was going to one-shot the guy. I didn't realize he was a boss, but that's all right. He's low level. But yeah, there was no rhyme or reason to it. You'd end up like in the middle of stuff. So what I like is that apparently here in Homecoming, they took the spawn point for coming out of the base teleporters and just put them all by the base portal, which is definitely better. Alright, so I think we're going to stop here, guys. We're going to head up and get to the top of one of the nice tall buildings. Like, let's do this one, I guess. Can we get up to the top? Yeah. At least up here. I don't know how anybody could look at this and say this is a crappy city. I think this looks amazing. For 2004, it looks great. It looks like a city from up here. I really like it, and I love the aesthetic. But I think maybe I just love this game too much. Let's stop here. Again, folks, if you want assistance with something, there are lots of ways to get it. You can post any question you want in my comments, and I will make a video that includes the answer if possible, and I'll tell you in my reply which video to go to, and you can skip ahead. I may even be able to tell you what minute to go to, but it depends on whether I keep track of that. I can also answer in comments if it's something that I can answer quickly. And when it's somebody asking how to do something in the UI, I try not to do too much of that in the comments because it's hard to explain. But the other thing I am willing to do if people want to like get help actually live in the game, I'm perfectly happy to mentor down or sidekick you up and show you the ropes if you need it. I mean, the game's not that hard, so I would hope that most people can figure it out. But if you can't, I'm always happy to help. Just let me know in the comments and we can maybe work something out. And if you see me online, feel free to send me a private message. Um, you can do that through the chat window. So until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes on the Homecoming servers, and I'm on the Everlasting server if you're looking for me.